I played through the first level of Celeste completely blindfolded. Celeste is one of my favorite games of all time, and I wanted to make some content focused around the game, so I thought, what about Celeste, but blindfolded? So that's exactly what I did, and here's how it went. I know Celeste pretty well. I'm decent at the more advanced mechanics from wave dashes to hypers, but despite that, I was still worried about doing it all blind. I did some run-throughs of the first chapter, establishing the necessary rooms and how to get through them while blind. In the first screen, I found that using simple dashes along with some speedrunning tech like hypers can make certain areas much simpler. The second screen, I ran into some problems as I could remember the screens on a very surface level, but forgot some small intricacies like this little ledge here. So I focused on recognizing some of these small things that could stop me and made sure to make a mental note of them. One aspect that became incredibly useful was the controller rumble. For wall climbing, you can climb a wall without knowing how far you've actually gone up. But with the controller rumble, I could know where I was based on the controller rumbling, letting me time my jumps and dash. Noise was obviously incredibly important as well. Because respawns are set, I found that by running into spikes intentionally or off cliffs could help me gauge exactly where I was and what screen I had made it to. The sound that certain materials would make when you jump on them could guide some of the precise movement. Dash crystals and wing berries make certain noises when interacted with, allowing for finding precise locations and screens. When you reach the top of a wall, the climbing noise and rumble stop, which let me know when to jump without wasting too much stamina. All these things that I learned in practice would become crucial during the actual run. So much of the practice ended up being essential. The first and second screen went by in a breeze, and by using the rumble trick, the third was easily completed as well with a quick hyper just to show off a bit. A lot of these screens went by really smoothly, but there were some that caused obvious problems. Using the sound of the winged strawberry to find exactly where I was, I made it to the fifth screen, which ended up taking a little bit of time. I ended up struggling with the size of the screen. The strategy I mapped out had me climb up this left wall and jump dash to make it to the middle platform, but the jump was difficult. Embarrassingly enough, I tried doing it the proper way and effortlessly made it, but ran too far, missing the screen change. But after a few more attempts, I found the path forward, only spending about 2 minutes here as I made it through and moved on. Heading on, the 7th screen looks pretty hard, but it's a lot easier than it looked. Once you dash up and hear the dash crystal refresh noise, you dash again almost instantly, easily making it to the platform. Just don't forget that there are ledges here. Screen 9 caused a lot of problems in practice, as it's harder to gauge how far you should jump to reach the platform without activating it and launching you into the spikes. But I spent a good amount of time here in practice and we had no problem quickly clearing this screen. Screen 10 was incredibly easy with wall climbs and spring dashes, which led to one of the hardest rooms in the run, the ice block room. I had not practiced this screen much at all, and knowing precisely where the blocks are is incredibly important. But I didn't know where the blocks were. I had a general idea of the screen. One wide piece of ice, one wall, and a skinny ice block. But I didn't know where the exit was, or exactly where the second skinny ice block was. With eyes open, this is simple, but even a slight misremembering of a room can cause massive problems blind. I fell and I fell, until eventually 4 minutes later, I made it with a bit of luck and sound cues. Moving along, I practiced screen 12 quite a bit, but still struggled with it in a unique way. You see, I actually went through this screen at a reasonable pace, but I'd lost myself. There's this little room at the bottom of the screen, and it leads to a strawberry with a mystery exit point. I briefly looked at it during practice, but I really didn't know it at all. But you may be wondering why this even matters if I pass screen 12 so quickly. The problem was that I made it to screen 13 much faster than I thought, and I didn't realize that I had made it. I recognized by the death sound that I was no longer in screen 12, but I thought I'd fallen into this mystery sidetrack. I had not. The confusion had me attempting strats for the previous room, which slowly transformed into me trying to escape the strawberry room. Well, I wasted about 2.5 minutes on this silly mishap and chugged on. Whoopsies. Skipping ahead to screen 15, I thought I looked really cool doing a hyper across this chasm, only to look back at the footage and realize I just performed the boring dash across. I walked far to the right into the winged strawberry room and was able to identify the room thanks to the noise from dashing activating the strawberry. Walking back to the right, this reset my spawn point to the other side of the chasm room, allowing me to easily jump up to the next problem, screen 16. Screen 16 was another case of a room not getting nearly enough practice. In fact, I don't even think I completed this one in practice at all. I knew the general layout of the room. I'll jump into the crystal to dash across to the wood platform, from there to a smaller platform, and finally up and out. But I did not know the intricate details of the screen. For example, you see how this wall has a few lips to it? I knew those existed, but I didn't know where, which led to me hopping away from the wall and leaning back in to get over non-existent ledges while falling onto the spikes. It took a while to actually get to this platform, but once I was there, it didn't take many attempts for me to finish the screen that cost me 6 minutes. From here, the rest of the chapter was smooth sailing, with screen 17 taking under a minute with only 3 deaths, moving on to screen 18. This led to the super intimidating screen 18, which, whoa, what the hell was that? Listen, I know it looks suspicious, but I promise you I couldn't see anything. Remember I said I'm pretty decent at the game? I've actually practiced the Celeste speedrun a bit and have a time under 1:30 on this chapter, which means I'm very comfortable with this skip. Trust me, it looks a lot harder than it is, I promise. But moving on from the screen that makes the entire video look fake, I headed into the final platforming screen, which by using jump noise cues to identify platforms went by incredibly smoothly. And finally, I walked into the cutscene and finished the blindfold run of Celeste's first chapter, Forsaken City, in 22:38. I'm really surprised at how easy this was for me to do. I've never done a blindfold challenge before, and heck, I'm just a Celeste amateur. I remembered the stage layout so vividly, which enabled me to clear so many screens in seconds. But I doubt I could do any more chapters, so my blindfold runs of Celeste is over here. But I'm incredibly proud I was able to do just one. Thanks for watching. Again, Celeste is wonderful, and I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe you wanted to play it yourself. If you liked the video, please give me a like or a subscribe or a comment or anything, and I'll see you next time. Later.